What up, Paintball World? Steve Reyes back at you again with film review session number 2. Got a good one for you. This, in my opinion, was the best set of the entire tournament. I do believe these were the two best teams playing in the tournament. Unfortunately, in the finals, it was a little bit of a blowout with impact and damage. And I do believe these were the two best teams, man. And there was a lot of action going on, a lot of good stuff to learn and pick up from. Got our zonies, got our Celsius, and we're ready to kick this thing off, man. So, semifinals. Dover, 2026. Red Legion versus Tampa Bay Damage. Both of them had excellent events coming in. If you happen to have watched my first review session, you remember I was keen on seeing JC and Chad George playing on the field at the same time, and never quite got to that configuration. I felt similarly about Damage in the last tournament. I thought that it was a great field to have two snake attackers, and I don't think there's a better two snake combo than Alex Goldman and Keith Brown. And I was very disappointed to see that they never got to that configuration very often in the last tournament, but it looks like they definitely found that configuration in this tournament, and I was extremely happy to see these five. We got Marcelo, Chris Shear, Jason Edwards, Keith Brown, and of course Alex Goldman running for Damage in this semifinals action. As far as for Russians, I believe we start off with Hara. Yeah, let's take a look here. Kirill, from what I understood from the coach's show, Kirill might have been injured, so I think he had some sort of back injury, kept him limited in prelims, and looks like they were really hoping to keep him for Sunday because he did end up getting a decent amount of reps on Sunday. We start off here with Hara, Malloy, of course, Sergey, Karslev, and then Kirill. So let's kick off this first point, man.
Where the snake is so dominant, you got to get those two guys to have that one.
All right, love this. Pulling back, we're pulling back Malloy here to shoot back from the home. That quick shot on the Snake Aztec. Hara off the break. Taking a lot of risks. They start with the corner here, taking a lot of risks on this D side. We'll see that as the match develops here. Goldman taking Snake off the break. Near matching breakout here, except Damage sticking with the double home in this scenario, and I believe we used Sergey, or it might have been Kirill actually, moving up to the tower.
They both know how to
Connects on that first shot. I do believe that was Jason Edwards shooting up the gut. Not exactly sure, because I didn't see anybody else who was really in position, unless it was it Goldman? Caught that quick.
They both can play the two.
He looks like he's shot there already. So it was either Marcelo shooting at that, but I'm pretty sure this shot here from this can on the Snake side was an excellent shot. Marcelo was shooting it really well all tournament. So I'd be surprised if he was shooting heads up more. Looks like he's shooting cross here. A little hard to tell from this angle. I do believe this is Jason Edwards who catches Kirill for the early kill and early body advantage for Damage. Keith moving out to that Aztec. Now Hara had a little bit of a tougher, had a good event. Definitely had a good event. Not quite the MVP event that he had from the last one. But did run into some trouble with these Damage boys. And I can say from practicing these guys for going back years, I definitely understand. I like to call Jason the Wizard, man. He seems to always dodge the pain and always get a good ball. This was kind of important. You had to recognize that there were different shots. There was the home shot, had a shot here right outside the Snake 2 mini W. And it was actually the can or the tower had the best shot on the outside of this Snake Rito moving up to the Starfish. So good heads up there on Hara. Just trying to get here, read the paint, recognize which one was on that gap, and then try to find the better route. But as we see Goldman here taking the early Snake 50 on the trap here. This was an easy kill on this middle brick player here. But for now, Goldman staying disciplined on the trap here. Man, really like this. Just two
getting
Two
total
really
bodies to
quality
the
snake
snake.
players
Keith Brown
on both
asking
sides,
for a check on Hara,
taking
heads up.
position.
Malloy
A
ends
little
up
bit
getting
more
into the snake
development
too.
from
Hara into
Karslev
Clover.
here as
Mouse into
compared.
50.
No, not really. I
Here
mean,
comes
this is
Malloy. He's
Marcelo
going to
now
make a
moving
move on the
behind Shears.
inside.
Shears in that second Dorito. Jason wisely getting out of that home. Very tough spot here, but Jason definitely makes the most of it, getting some crucial kills out of that spot.
The rookie firepower from Thomas Hara, just unstoppable in Tampa. Relatively unstoppable.
This was a typical trap set from the brick here on the Dorito side. Very interesting here, both these players. Not quite sure that there's another player on the other side. Goldman staying nice and low, not dying to the brick. Huge kill here, you know. Keith Brown's snapshot is lethal. Let's see how he engaged that snapshot, if we can find it. Love this, love this. So this is, you know, we're starting to develop how to play these starfish. It's a really interesting bunker. I'm really falling in love with it. I think it's really leading to some interesting play. And you got to be willing to change where you're coming out from this bunker. And this bunker offers a lot of different ways to come out. I love that he kind of pulls himself back towards the back side of this bunker, kind of popping up over the middle as opposed to just always popping up from the same spot here. And connects in a great shot on Hara. Big advantage for damage here. 5-3, up 53 on the body count. Good development on both sides. You know, a little interesting little misplay here. I know Spica was talking about it. I think he just, that one knock on the bunker is enough for a guy like Goldman to figure that out. Now, really interesting, you know, he did this move pretty quickly to make sure he didn't die from the brick player on the trap. It does turn into a trade. The brick player gets Alex Goldman, but this is excellent for damage. Leave the snake alone to Keith. Down bodies big. Still got some pretty heavy development here on the D side, though. Karslev's trying, but he's just down bodies at this point. Pretty hard. As you can see, Jason's doing a good job orienting his body back towards the two threats that are left. Keith moving to that snake 50 position. I think he's aware of this brick here. He knows to be careful with it, not die to there. Puts his body to the tape. Gun dominance on this brick player here now. Damage in full control at this point. One last threat left to deal with in this brick. And then we see Karslev kind of runs to his death there. Down bodies, nothing much you can do there. Jason come drop the hammer. And we start off 1-0. Man, damage was shooting great off the break. This point was no exception, starting up a body. And just being really smart in their development. Great trade on in the snake from Mouse to just play a little attrition while we're at bodies. And yeah, just being smart. You know, you got to be careful not to touch these bunkers when we're in spots that people could be in, you know. That was just a little bit of a misplay there by Malloy to give Goldman the drop there. Yeah, Spica's kind of talking about. I don't think Malloy was trying to draw it. I think it was just a little bit of lack of bodily acuity there. Definitely touched when he didn't want to. Really happy to see Damage. You know, Damage has kind of gone with two lines. They've done that in the past. One of the few teams to ever win with a two-line situation going on. But I think they really got down to their best five in this event. So we'll skip. This is another pretty interesting match, but we're going to skip along to the next point. All right, same 5 for Damage. No reason to change it. Now, interestingly, it seems that they've... do we still have Horror on this point? Yeah, I think we do still have Horror here. Like I said, Horror had a little bit of tough event. Big kill on Karslev. As you see, they took that second Dorito off the break. That up and over play was definitely there. But it was shootable. No, on that one, we just went all the way around. Got clapped there. Hard to say who exactly connected that, but Hard definitely trying to push it here. I love to see that. He really plays with no fear, but man, this is the exact kind of stuff, I can totally empathize with this situation. You know, this is exactly the kind of stuff that Jason Edwards does all the fucking time. You know, why would you even expect that someone's going to pop the top there in that scenario? I mean, a lot of players wouldn't, you know. But man, he's just there ready, pops the top, shoots, no sir. And I love that he tucks in to make sure he doesn't die, but he makes sure he connects on Hara. Just a really quality kill there. Took off a huge threat off the board for Russians, and yet again, we're up bodies, up a body. Damages matched up in the snake. Karslev's already been eliminated on the D side. There's that fill to the snake side for Jason Edwards. Almost caught that snake corner there. He caught a piece of him on the inside, but dodged it quickly enough. Is that J-Rab we got there in the snake? I think we got J-Rab activated now. J-Rab, I believe, getting eliminated by Sheer in the Dorito 50. And this is just kind of some domination by Damage. Full field spread, up bodies, and quick towel by Russian Legion, man. Started this out strong. Shooting well off the break. Good development on all sides. And really punishing them. Really interesting point here. So let's move on. I believe we're at about 4:30 here. Here we go. Point number 3, 2-0 for Tampa Bay Damage. Firmly in control of this set, and there will definitely be some action on this one. Again, same 5. I love this for Damage. Sticking with the same 5. They have 11 killers. That could be great, but you got to know when your bodies are hot. I believe now we have Hara out. Malloy back into that snake 1 position. Now this one was a big kill on Jason Edwards. Kind of hard to see who would have connected on it. There was some home-to-home shooting before. That might be Kirill, might be J-Rab, hard to say. But I do believe that was a strong connection there. And suddenly Russian Legion up 2 bodies with a good spread. Obviously, Russians are never going to be an easy win.
Bodies left alive for Damage. You got Mouse in Snake 1, Marcelo over in the Spick and Span can, and Chris Shear in Dorito 1.
But huge kill. Chris Shear, I believe, catching that inside kill on that can. Kirill in that can. Really tough shot. Had to play tall for it.
Chris got that shot on Kirill, I think.
And suddenly we are in a definite game here. 4 bodies to 3. Up 2 on the game. A little bit of development here in the snake. Definitely wanted to have 2 bodies in this snake. This was a 2-body snake for sure. This cross ended up being pretty powerful as far as slowing down the snake side, but at a certain point, once the snake got pretty developed, it got pretty tough to pick the gap that you wanted to hold down when they could kind of go around it. And yeah, some really good development by Russian Legion, but I think we're going to see here a really, really interesting play. Karza barely dodging that shot from Goldman on the inside. Great job staying alive. Now this is when the action really gets started, man. This is why you pay this guy the big bucks. So,
Looks like he wants to go. Here he comes.
highly controversial play here.
That might be a major.
All right, so where do we start on this? Man, being someone who's gotten to practice this guy quite a bit, I understand how frustrating this is. This is a player, Alex Goldman, who definitely pushes the boundaries. He plays every move as if he didn't get shot, even if he did, and that's just the right way to play. I mean, you got to make sure you don't collect penalties, but that's how you get paid the big bucks. You got to survive these engagements, and on first blush, this definitely looked like there's no way he didn't get shot, and this play ends up getting very thoroughly reviewed, and right here, as you can see, kind of catches both of them sleeping. Now, something really interesting to take away from this play. This is something I try to teach my guys when I'm coaching, something I'm trying to always instill in myself. When you go and engage with your opponent right there, so he engages, you can feel when you really put that player in and they are not going to come out. And then sometimes you can feel that, no, this person wants the gun battle. There's a good chance he's going to come back out again. And what I really like about the way Goldman played this, I think he spoke about this in the PTG episode, that he just felt that the way he engaged with him, he really put Malloy in. And from the video, it looks accurate. Looks like Malloy was kind of taking a second here to kind of just read the pain and settle. And he definitely did not expect Alex Goldman to just immediately get on his feet and make a move. Now, as you see, the Dorito player did have a shot here, but was not expecting this big. This was a big gap to cross. And you saw not a lot of players be willing to cross this gap. And you just got to really give Goldman a lot of kudos on this one, having the gumption to make a move like this in a big game, and to do so
here he comes.
effectively. Catches both them sleeping. You'll see Malloy tries to recover here, and ultimately never gets a shot off on Goldman, even though he's that close. And as you see here, J-Rab also caught sleeping. Did not expect to see a move like this from Goldman going down the tape. Tries to get his gun up. Looks like he's a little bit to the right of Goldman here. Misses his shot. And then ultimately, Goldman's basically alive here. And catches a face hit cross field from that Dorito player as he's sliding into the snake corner. You know, I think he had mentioned that, you know, J-Rab was already calling the no way, no way after the interaction. And unfortunately, I think this flag happens because it just looked like there's no way those two players would both get caught sleeping. And like I said, this play gets thoroughly reviewed over and over again. Goldman is furious. If you're a divisional player, don't talk to refs like that. You ain't going to get away with it. That's for damn sure. You know, that's something only Alex Goldman can get away with. But yeah, this is a great opportunity to see this. Puts him in, recognizes that he really put him in, and no hesitation on the move. Wasn't sure about if there'd be a snake 50 there, but was still able to reorient his gun, gets his shot in there, survives, gets his shot in on J-Rab. And he's clean, man. We go through it over and over again. There is no shot on him until he passes J-Rab and gets shot from this Dorito, the second Dorito.
Look at Malloy still doesn't have his gun up. Still.
Man, just catching both two high-quality, legendary players. To catch both of those guys sleeping like that, I just think this move was very unexpected. Takes a lot of balls and gumption, like I said before. And you know, a guy like Goldman, he's going to explode through his opportunities, and he's going to expect to survive the engagement. And this is just one of those opportunities, you know, that only the elite players are going to get. Man, excellent move here. Again, you got to remember, damage is down bodies here. So this was a crucial move to try to swing the whole game. And really unfortunate, actually. You know, I know Goldman was talking about on PTG that this set shouldn't have even been as close as it was, because what ultimately ends up happening is they reverse the call, and it ends up being a no point. And in reality, most likely this should be 3-0. You know, that would have put the bodily advantage for damage, and with an empty snake. So just looking at it, I think Russians really caught a break here. This should really be 3-0. And just an untimely, you know, really tough call from the ref there. He's on the backside. And just like I said, it just looks like there's no way two players like Malloy and J-Rab would get caught sleeping that bad and both get shot by Goldman on a move like that without exchanging with him. And yeah, man, it's just really interesting, too, because for it to be a red flag, that means the ref had established that he thought Malloy shot him, and then after that engagement, he continued to play on and shot J-Rab. The only other way that could have went is, you know, there is a rule that if you progress past 2 bunkers with a hit, that is considered a major according to the rules. So that might have been the way he had interpreted it. That Goldman running after J-Rab shot him to the snake corner was actually a major just for playing on in position. But either way, man, that is an excellent move. That's something all the snake players should be taking into consideration. That's how we need to be moving. We need to be able to read those gunfights, know when we have those opportunities, and we have those opportunities, we got to explode through them. And we have to move like we're expecting to survive the engagement. And that's exactly what Goldman does in every engagement like that. And like I said, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. But really unfortunate play call. I am glad to see that they could reverse it and just make sure we start with full accounting here. Oh, we actually went back too far here. This gets reviewed thoroughly, like I said here. Let's find the right spot.
Make it down the snake.
So
in
we
that
will be
fight,
on
so.
point for 4 hours and
And that's
44
the
minutes.
communicator.
Jason, the World Cup MVP. Thought you were breaking.
We got to go back. Apologies here.
I'm going to back up to snake.
Right now, because
We're gonna
for a
find the
while,
right
they didn't
spot.
really have many options off the bench. They really didn't. It was their start playing tournament.
I think here we are, because they had assessed the point for Russian Legion due to the major. Here's the long review session.
You're right.
This is a test for Legion.
And now we made it a no point.
They typically stack up gigantic leads. Occasionally let guys start coming back, but that's about it. And then they stop that from happening as well, too. So
All right,
Legion
on
wants
to
to- if
point
Legion can
4.
fight back and-
Goldman and the Snake. Now, big kill for Russian Legion to connect with that kill on Goldman. I assume this was Sergey in that can cross that had one of the best shots for the Snake runner. So I assume that was him. But as we saw, Karslev with a big up and over move. This move was there. A lot of things blocking you out. And it was important to sprinkle this move in a decent amount. Maybe somewhere in the range of like 15%, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And just make these Dorito side shooters really guess, are they going deep and up to the first Dorito, and then at the same time have them worried about the up and over, and just making that shooter like kind of guess the depth. Where are they going out of these 3 bunkers? That was the big question. And by mixing in some up and over, you really give that shooter a lot to think about and doesn't get to just tee off on the same spot. I love, Russians loved using this can. I also loved this can. I thought there was a lot here. But I do got to admit, it did get punished a lot in this finals.
Off the break, get 2 into the snake. Justin Rapkov hits the deck.
Russians up a body here.
Alexander Burtnikov is
Keith
already
going to
outside
work,
wide,
though.
baby Dorito, but
Trying to
the
match
loose
up the
Kirill
Snake.
inside.
And then again, Kirill getting shot on the side from the Dorito development.
Shear did make it to the Dorito 3 fairly quickly.
Big kill.
and
Here we
Jason
go.
Edwards did
I
get
love
out
how
of the back
Jason was
center.
quick to get out of that home quite a bit. I thought the
here you
home
see
was vulnerable. So I love to see him. He
Justin
loved this
Rapkov now
Aztec, and he
taking the
really
inside
made a
route
lot
over to
happen
that
out of
50
there.
snake.
I believe we got J-Rab on the cross here, but Keith is a smart player. We're up 2 bodies, or excuse me, we're up 2 points here, matched up on body count. No reason to kind of make the move Goldman just made without knowing exactly where everybody is. So I would have preferred J-Rab to maybe hunt here and try to turn it into a 2v1, because I think you could assume a smart player like Keith. We're already developed on the D side. There's no reason for him to go through this trap here. So I think we do have a gun kind of out of the game here, and I think he recognizes that here. Like, okay, I need to get more involved. And here we see Karslev trades out with Shear.
Marcelo gonna bump out
Not
to
a
the
bad
Dorito
trade, but
corner.
Marcelo bumping out to match up with Sergey. Sergey kind of like picking up that Dorito attack. Man, Marcelo was really hunting for these step-out shots. I really love that. That's something we could all add to our game more. You got to be willing to play dead zones like that.
And then,
I saw him connect on that shot quite a few times throughout the tournament. I don't think we quite connected on it in this set, but you just really got to add that to your arsenal. They think you're in the Dorito corner only, and you don't have control of the tape, so they start rapping, and you do a nice little step out and catch him.
3-on-2 situation here.
So we're up a body
Marcelo,
again.
Dorito one,
Another big kill
Sergey
out of the Snake side.
over there on the Dorito
I believe
side
that was
for
Jason who
Legion.
caught J-Rab again out of that Aztec. Kind of hard to
Situation
see if we can catch that kill.
kill.
How'd that happen?
Tucker.
Marcelo gonna bump
I don't
out
know.
to
It
the
might be
Dorito
off
corner.
camera. We might not see that
So this
one.
is right in that on J-Rab there. I think that was Jason over there in the snake
Yeah.
Aztec.
I think so. I think that's what Spick is talking about right now.
Brown gonna back
I
up.
like the retreat here as well. We're up bodies. Ooh. I promise I was paying my internet. What we got going on? Come on, MLPB. Hook it up. What we got going on? What we got going on? Let's get back to the action here. Give it a quick little refresh. Sometimes that'll do the trick. Come on,
Back up to
Verizon. We
Snake
pay too
2
much
now.
money for you to not be
Looking
working
across the
for me
field,
here.
3-on-2 situation here.
All right, back to the action here.
Marcelo in
Like I
Dorito
said, I
1,
love the
Sergey
retreat by
over down the
Keith.
Dorito side
Kind of
for
create some more
Legion.
distance with the one thread in front of you. Pick up the cross. We're
Malloy
up
gonna come up
points,
in the
and now we're
snake.
up a body. And really, let's
Snake
force
2.
them to break our control.
It's a good move by Keith to come back there to support.
Jason staying alive here. I like
We've
that.
seen so many
Interesting
looks like
retreat
Mouse
back to the
Mouse did,
home.
Mouse
Again, I
did.
kind of don't hate it now. You know, that home's a lot less vulnerable with only
Rab
two
just
attacking
body wasn't
options on
able
the field.
to be there in that fight. So
Kind of sets him up to go either way,
This is why,
shoot either way.
You know, Skinny Kevin was going with
Marcelo
Jason
being
Edwards.
active
You know,
on that
big
D
plays
side.
Like this, big kills, hard to shoot, staying alive. And, you know, great
And right
communicator.
now, you know, Damage playing the survivability game. There's that step out shot again. Just trying to keep his eyes up. Make sure we don't lose track of these two attackers that are left. Jason, back to the Aztec here. Seems like he was just barely missing that paint there. And then we got a trade out here. You know, I would have liked to have seen Malloy try to get a little sneakier. A trade here really isn't the best situation. And then we'll see a pretty quick towel here. And man, Tampa Bay Damage in full control at 3-0. Everything, this was definitely a great weekend for Damage, man. Really having everything they want. So let's get back to this here. Let's get back to the action again. Sticking with the same five, I love it. Like I said, you know, there's a lot of great players on Tampa Bay Damage. Everyone knows that. But, you know, I think at times they didn't always play their hot hands, and sometimes you got to play the best five. And these were definitely the best five. I think we do have Chad Bouger in, actually, as a matter of fact. We did change it up a little bit on this one.
Into the snake for Legion, coming off early for Tampa Bay.
Quick kill for Damage.
As they shoot two on the break, they shoot Marcelo Margot, they shoot Alex
Ooh,
Coleman.
shot Marcelo. Chad trying to retreat back to the home. Chris Shear trades with Karslev, and this one is definitely going Russian Legion's way. What a bomb. You already know. It's good to see, what do we get? We get Har back in there for that one. Good point for the kid. And yeah, we're still going to have a battle. You know it's not going to be an easy win against Russian Legion. Legion trying to make a game of this. Take advantage of that call.
Yeah, dude, did you see
You
that?
can imagine how different this set would look at 4-1 versus 3-1. So that penalty on Goldman really being a big difference maker. In a lot of ways, this set would be maybe more so, not over, but a lot closer to over.
Can't get taken, man.
Skip through this last set. This was a good set. We might have to do a review session on this one. This was interesting, despite the blowout. Thought it was interesting the way it played out.
Barrett got there. They shot.
All right, now back to that original five chat out.
He's clean, and he was definitely there.
I believe Hara, is Hara in on this one? Yeah, Hara getting connected on. Looked like in that first gap, that was that home quick shot here.
Still to be decided right now, though.
2 loss. Legion losing 2.
Karslev getting shot off the break. And again, Damage in full control of this point.
Mouse here on the cross.
Good development on both sides. And man, the off the break shooting was just the difference maker. You know, there were some good shots connected on Goldman. There were some good shots connected on Jason on that one point, but I think the ultimate difference maker in this set was absolutely the off the break shooting. I do believe Damage shot off the break better than anyone else in the pro division in this tournament. And that's a great recipe for winning a tournament. You have to shoot well off the break if you want to win. There's no doubt about it.
If this is their positioning and this is what they want to shoot, then you have a good idea of what they're...
And yeah, we're just in full control mode here. We got Goldman on the cross, Shear in the second Dorito.
It's 3-on-5. We're not looking you to just run into
Got Marcelo on that cross on the snake side. And yeah, we're gonna make these three have to push through 5 guns. Enjoy our 2-point lead that's been hard earned.
Kind of giving the other team a higher probability of getting the win.
In the positioning here by Justin,
Surprised I'd like.
I think they
Quite honestly, I might,
mouse just
Legion
got
probably
into
has
the
a
snake,
few
but
too many
his
assets
position looks
still,
like he
but
got
honestly, a
mouse
towel
into
in
the
this
snake
scenario is
yeah,
not a bad idea.
the previous 30
Um,
seconds.
if you're Legion right now, you'd like to see these Dorito players really
Mouse
press
and
real
Snake
quick
2
and see
now
if there's
keep
something to be
around.
had because
Go
our
ahead, heads
widest
up.
player on the Snake side is in a very, very vulnerable can position.
Nobody over here on the
We have a
Snake
great
side
player in J-Rab,
for
but
Legion.
in the end, we have Keith alone in the
J-Rab's gonna
Snake.
back up
And really
over into Snake
awesome
1.
retreat by J-Rab.
Tampa
He knew
gets
how
more quick
vulnerable
here.
that can was.
4 minutes
And
on the
we
clock. We
cannot
did
leave
see
the
them pull
Snake
out
alone with
a
Keith and
3-on-5
expect to win.
start
So
the last
much
match,
more
but
tolerable spread here for
drastically
Legion.
different situation here
Given
as,
that retreat
they
and
have
J-Rab
down
and the
2
Snake,
points.
I do not
Under 4
hate letting
minutes
this
on the
point
clock
play
now.
out a little bit more here.
J-Rab gonna have to get real
J-Rab having
crafty
some pain
real
issues there,
quick.
it looks like.
A little surgery here. Throw in a new pod.
I
3:30
think
to go.
if I'm Legion, I'm looking to see for some development to happen really
How long would
quickly
you like to survive on
because
this side?
it's hard to see how
You
we
know,
win in this
I,
scenario.
I think for me, with watching
Looks like
what
we have
Brittany
Jason
is
on
capable
a
of,
safety
I might
cross
have blown
here.
it
I
when
think he only
J-Rab
has the
stuck in
outside of
can.
50, but at least we can make sure nothing's
You know,
progressing to
that's
our
why I brought
side.
it up.
Yeah.
Really
Like,
crucial kill
maybe
there.
even
No,
I
no, no.
don't
Was
know,
that
that was a
towel?
good play on me
Smart
to blow
towel.
when J-Rab stuck in the
We
can.
got a
He
towel
just
there.
wasted another 45 seconds.
Just
Yeah,
very,
that's
very
a
low
point.
percentage
Keith was
opportunity to
really
win
good from
that.
spot.
I think we
What
all
are you
know
gonna
that.
do?
And Russian Legion's definitely capable of winning fast points, so you're not afraid to play the fast game if you're Legion.
I think that's
You are the bite.
Damage wins
All
again.
right.
Like this.
Back to Hara, Malloy, J-Rab, Vasquez getting a point in here. Big opportunity for him. Obviously, they're down 3. They want some fast points. Maybe they want to give the youth a little bit.
Have to score this rush.
I do believe Vasquez might be getting
It would help
shot
if
here
Legion
off the
shot someone
break.
off the
Nope,
break.
survived the break. It
They
was
do. They connect
Sergey
on
who
that
gets
deep
shot
side. They shot on
again.
Sheer, but they lose
Another
Sergey,
big
so it's
kill.
gonna be
Sheer does get
Hara
shot
as
going
well.
wide as well, though. Vasquez is on his horse,
Thomas can.
trying to make some
That's
moves.
right.
J-Rab screaming for a kill.
Shot someone on the loader, but I don't see another body coming off right now for Tampa
I
Bay.
do
Maybe.
believe there it is on the hopper. Jason
There's
did
something on
get
the
shot
loader.
on the hopper,
Definitely
and
something
that
on
will
the
be
loader.
a minor.
He's gonna call him out. And we're gonna see
Huge
my
minor.
move. So
A
J-Rab
little
was
bit of
correct,
a
and it's gonna cost
forced error
another
there.
body as Vasquez
You were,
pulled off.
Damage was definitely well in position to still win without
Vasquez gonna get
Jason
pulled
there.
off that
So
Dorito
you would have
side.
liked to have seen him kind of
Bodies
notice
left
that and
alive
get
over
out
here
and
for Legion.
still give his team a
at
chance to
2-on-2
win. But
with
as you see
Marcelo
here,
still
even with
alive
all
over
that
there on
chaos,
the Dorito
breaks
side.
down to a 2v2. Definitely a winnable point for both
Damage
teams.
and D1 for damage, but this benefits them because okay, 2-on-2. is
J-Rab
just
being a
little bit.
stud.
Let's play a long
Big advantage to damage in this 2v2 is the positional advantage, having a spread there. As you see, J-Rab recognizes that and does what he can to get wide, but gets caught on the cross. At the same time, Malloy shoots out Keith, and we have a run back of the Tampa Bay one-on-one on the in the lights in Tampa Bay Stadium. Another crucial 1v1 with Malloy and Marcelo. You love to fucking see it.
Malloy's gonna have to go get that buzzer. Oh, and he
But
shoots
on this
Marcelo.
one, really catches Marcelo. I'm sure Marcelo would like to bring that one back because considering the score, he had a huge advantage in that Malloy really needed to kind of make a move towards the buzzer. So I'm sure if he could take that one back, he'd probably prioritize his life a little bit. Ooh, giving him the shush. Letting him know it's still a game. I like it. Spicy. This was definitely a spicy set between these two teams. As you saw, there's a little bit of chaos in the handshake line afterwards. So it's good to see, man. You need some villains, you need some heroes in the game. Keeps everything exciting. Really nice set here, and still a game. 2-point deficit, minute and 37. We are still in it for sure. And if there's a team that could put 2 points together in a minute 37, it's definitely Red Legion.
What do you think?
Has been right.
I think we will be getting back to the same 5 for damage.
You know, I mean, it's who's going to shoot somebody on the break? You
Back
know,
to
is
Shear.
Legion going to be able to keep those bodies alive for
Keith
damage?
will be
But,
out there.
you know, damage also shooting really
Karslev,
well. And,
Malloy,
you know, that
Sergey.
after break movement down the Dorito side, you know,
See who
Chris
else
Shear's
comes
been
out for
winning that
Legion.
battle in this match as
I
we've seen
believe
Karslev, you know, be the one
Har
all event
might be
long,
down in this one.
who's
Let's
getting
see.
down that Dorito side
We got
super
Malloy,
fast,
who's
putting
our
pressure
fifth.
on and opening up, you know, things to go through the middle and through the snake side for Legion. But, you know, this match so far, Karslev's got shot on the break a couple times, really kind of been
Okay, we go with Smotrov on this one. All right. Mixing it up a little bit.
Back on the field, so maybe Karslev can get in here and make a difference in a 2-point game with 137 on the clock.
The only thing I don't like about this particular setup, you know, if you're damaged, I feel like this is a very easily read box, double home, something either it's going to be an up and over or tower. Let's see if they connect on it.
Comes down to this. Legion on the left side.
Smotrov makes it all the way to their side. I love this move. There was something here. But again, it's still just 2 points. Goldman's alive in the snake corner on the cross. That really cuts down a lot of the shenanigans that can happen middle of the field. We have some development on the D side. Sheer is in the Dorito. But as you see, Karslev is Karslev is in that Dorito 50. Sergey pushing in behind him. Smotrov trying to play the outside of that bunker, looking to make something happen. And I believe Marcelo found it. Called it over. We see Jason switch. Now we got Sergey. Ooh, big move up in that dead zone. I love these moves. Catches Jason. At the same time, J-Rab pushing. Goldman on the trap, though. They do trade. Gets Keith in the Aztec. Hit afterburners, and we have a game, folks. We have a game. 37 seconds left. Down 1 point. Man, you got to give it to Red Legion there. You know, they took some risks. They did work out. They attacked the middle first, and then ultimately having two bodies push that Dorito side at the same time. And I love that. You got to stagger the attack. The middle was first. The Dorito side was second. But at the same time, J-Rab was pushing that snake and ended up trading out with Goldman. Just keeping some attention on that snake side and just keeping the attack balanced. And full field, full court press, and look at it. We're in a game. 1 point, 37 seconds left. You love to see it. Like I said, I do believe these were the two best teams in the tournament. I believe they performed the best. I believe they understood the field the best, and were some of the best shooters as well. And again, just that little bit of difference. Damage did shoot better off the break than any other team at this event. There's no doubt about it.
Coast to coast, to see that like little.
Exciting match. Here we go. That's why you get paid the big bucks. This is the moment here. 37 seconds. 1 point game. Who's going to get to the finals? Get an opportunity to take home the gold. Smotrov getting another rep here. Hara down. Malloy is a snake one.
I can see what you're thinking. On the breakout here, it's going to be Smotrov getting shot on the break.
Oof.
Mouse walks off the field.
Mouse walks. Smotrov gone. Center push. Karslev dead. Sheer catching a penalty. I believe pulling Marcelo. Now, man, I think they just had to push a little bit sooner here. I think he's really trying to get a shot in on Jason. But the way this all worked out, look at the body count. Russians are up on the body count. Unsure how that body there was lost for Russian Legion. And suddenly we find ourselves in a 2v2. Keith Brown trying to keep the snake in check. Jason's dead. And just short of the buzzer, man. Malloy throwing it out there, trying his freaking best to get that tie. What a match there. Little bit of chaos. We got to go back, man. So much happened so quickly. So Keith did get shot there by Malloy. Jason kind of playing around like he's not sure if he's shot. Man, that might have been a high IQ play there just to pretend like maybe you're alive. Because a couple of steps and, Malloy ties that up, and we're going into an epic overtime. But man, yeah, had to give a pound on that one. And as we see, we had some beef there between J-Rab and Goldman.
Lens to lens.
Sergey definitely unhappy
Strange
with
situation here for
Mouse
Legion.
there and the
Knocked
conduct.
out. They
But,
won the
like I said,
tournament.
every sport
Tampa
needs some villains and
won the
heroes.
series
And,
title, or series
this
tiebreaker
one
in
goes to the
2026.
villain. Goldman
Who knows
had
who's
an
gonna win that
excellent
one?
event,
Impact, I'll tell you what.
excellent
Impact making
set,
2 final
and
matches, so
really deserved the opportunity to play in the
Big
finals
match.
again.
our defending world champs.
You got to be
World
happy with
champs on
that, man.
Thursday.
What a set.
Gonna
A
beat
lot of
Legion
fun to
and
watch.
win it.
I wish I would have been able to see that one live. And yeah, as we know, Damage goes on to just crush in the finals. That was definitely the best set of the tournament. And yeah, Keith getting some love here in the post-game show. But yeah, man, again, awesome layout. I think Trozen is just batting 1,000 so far this year. Exciting layout. I love the way it's been playing out. It's hard to say whether it's been the pod count difference or if it's just simply been the layouts, but there's been so much more action. You got to give it up to the way they're doing the tie breaks now with points won. And it's hard to say whether it's one of those three things or the accumulation of all three, but the action's been much better this year. Been exciting sets, aggressive. No one wants to see teams crossed up for 5 or 6 minutes, and I think the product we're getting with this year so far has just been excellent, man. And just, man, so many great plays, two really great teams battling it the fuck out. And man, just got to give it up. Great event. Great job, Jason, with the layout. Great job, NXL. Awesome year so far, and man, just a lot to learn from this set. It just really, in my opinion, it came down to the off the break shooting. Damage was just shooting well off the break, and that was ultimately the difference maker, in my opinion. So that's it for film review session number 2. Hope you guys are enjoying them. I'm loving them myself. I love a lot of these sets. We're going to do some more. We might do another one from this tournament because there was a couple of noteworthy sets with a lot to learn. But, man, really great time watching these two battle it out. And, yeah, like I said, just a lot to learn. Looking forward to Cincy with you guys. And, yeah, until then, man, keep practicing. See you guys in Cincinnati.